All right guys, today we're gonna get into another drop bar to flat bar conversion. I got a shipment here from Tumbleweed Bikes. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up and I'll show you what I got. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that, man. All right, so these are the Tumbleweed Persuader bars in aluminum. So they come in a few different sizes. These are the 840 millimeter width. They also come in 800 millimeter width. And then these are the 20-degree back sweep ones. They also have a 30-degree back sweep one as well. So this is like a nice kind of middle ground from going full back sweep, and it's not quite a mountain bike bar either where it's more around 10 degrees back sweep. And then these are the 50 millimeter rise version as well. They come in black and they come in like a silver color as well. So one more thing to note about the bars too is that they have this really kind of long area in the center here. Most riser bars that you would get for a mountain bike, the rise part kind of starts a little bit earlier, so there's no space to mount a bar bag. So this has like a nice kind of wide space here where you can mount bags and things like that. All right, so first things first, we gotta take everything apart here. We should be old pros at this since we did this about 3 months ago on Katie's bike. So we gotta take the drop bars off. We gotta take all these like extra things like the quad lock off and basically get it ready to put the new handlebars on. Oh, it's so sad taking it last time with the drop bars. I don't wanna do it. We're just gonna keep them. No, I'm just kidding. We're getting rid of them. Okay, so honestly, the reason we're getting rid of the drop bars, I have to say this too, is not because the drop bars aren't functional, practical, and great for long distance and for a lot of stuff. They really are, and if drop bars are for you, then definitely keep your drop bars or put drop bars on your bike. But for me, I like riding bikes for fun, and I like dropping off curves, I like hitting little side hits, and I feel like while you can do that with drop bars, it's just more fun to have flat bars. So I'm putting them on this bike just because it's more fun. All right. Don't want to cut the housing now. Going to be reusing the housing. All right, let me try to collect all those little things that just came off. I don't even see one of them. Had to pause for a second to grab a sweatshirt. It's freaking cold out here, man. It's like almost the end of May here in Pennsylvania, and it's just like, it says it's 56, but it feels like 40. All right, gonna pull these cables through. So this bike currently has a 100 millimeter stem. I got this 80 millimeter stem off of Katie's 4130. She just replaced hers recently with a 60 millimeter stem. So this should shorten it up a little bit, which I think will be a bit better for the flat bars, riser bar thing that I'm putting on here. I think we're gonna go like this way with the stem, but I think I like that nice like flat look. If this is the right height and everything, I just feel like this looks better, so that's kind of what I'm going with. And then yeah, kind of on our way here already. All right, we'll torque those up later then. I think we're already ready for the big moment, putting the bars on, so that's exciting. Gonna be so freaking sweet, dude. This is exactly how I envisioned them to look, and we're gonna find out exactly what they look like in just a moment. Just want to take a moment to thank Tumbleweed for sending me these bars. They're just absolutely sick. Look at that, man. Oh, I love this like gold, how it matches like the gold on the braze-ons here. That's just, man, it looks so good. All right. These are just some very, very elegant looking bars. Elegant is the word for sure. And I really did actually go with the 840s because the 800s were out of stock currently. So we'll see if I end up cutting them down a lot or not. I've never had bars that were even full 800. I mean, I have, but I've always cut them down. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna vibe with such wide bars, or such long handlebars, but I'm curious to try it out. I know it's gonna make things a little bit more stable for bike packing, so maybe I'll end up actually really liking that, but we're just not sure yet. We'll have to do some testing. All right, let me just take a second to appreciate the beauty that is these bars. Actually, the 840s do not look extremely wide. It's so weird. You would think they would. Maybe it's the back sweep. I don't get it, man. It actually looks quite proper, I would say. It kind of has like a clunker look to it, if you know what I'm talking about. Like those old school clunker bikes that kind of were the foundation of mountain biking back in the day. I feel like it has that kind of clunker vibe, which is pretty dope. So I am very excited about this. I'm curious to see how with this geometry the bike handles with flat bars. I'm wondering if I can really, play on this bike a lot, or if it's still gonna feel a lot like a gravel bike. Because, I do have some like toe overlap with the front wheel and stuff, so it's not gonna be a full-on mountain bike per se. Obviously, it's very steep head tube angle and all of that as well. Very compact wheelbase. But I'm hoping it kind of feels like a 90s mountain bike. All right, we're gonna crank in all these bolts to 6 Newton meters. Cool, dude. All right, man. Looking so good, dude. So freaking good. All right, so here's the plan for the drivetrain. Since I don't have a flat bar shifter for this state branded drivetrain, which is essentially a Sensa drivetrain, I'm just not gonna worry about getting the flat bar shifter for this, and I'm just gonna try to swap out the drivetrain to something that I think might work a little bit better. I have this old GX 12-speed derailleur here, GX Eagle derailleur. I've got this NX cassette, which is in decent shape. All this stuff is used, just stuff I kind of had left over. And I have this NX shifter as well. So we're gonna try to put this on the bike. Hopefully it works better than this drivetrain did. So let's try it. All right, so we should be able to get this off now and replace it with the NX cassette, because this is an HG free hub. So let's give that a shot here. Oh, we need a chain whip. Dang it. I forgot about that chain whip. I don't have a chain whip here. I made one last time. I should have just bought the dang chain whip tool, bro. I just should have just bought one. Dang it, dude. I might have an idea. All right, so one of the commenters in one of our videos one time said that they just put on some very thick gloves like this, just held onto the cassette, and were able to get it loose. So don't try this at home, but that's what we're gonna try. Wow, that was really easy. That definitely works. That definitely works. Either that or this was way too loose. I don't know if that was 40 Newton meters of torque on this bad boy. So, but yes, it definitely worked. So cool. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Let's try to keep this cassette together. Don't let it fall apart. All right, cool beans. That was way easier than I expected, to be honest. Glove method works. Thank you to whoever commented that. Heck yeah, brother. All black looks really good. Well, it's not all black because it's old, but it just looks good. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm pretty sure I completely forgot about a chain, but I'm pretty sure I have a chain as well. All right, homies, so now it's time to put the shifters, brake levers, and all of that fun stuff onto the bars. Maxi trigger short pulls. So they're pretty cool looking. I find that on these cheaper levers where you can't actually open up the clamp part and put them on, it's sometimes better to take the bolt out and then put like a tire lever or some sort of wedge in there to get it on. Otherwise, you're gonna scratch the crap out of your bars. I mean, if you don't really care, you don't really care, but these bars are like super fancy, so I kind of would like to keep them in a good condition if possible. So the trick is basically you just like wedge a tire lever in there and it sort of opens this part up, and then you can get it on there better. You can kind of like, you know, pry it. Then you just get it, it just slides on so much easier. No scratching or anything. All right, everything's on there now. Now we just gotta like tighten them up and put the cables in and stuff. Friggin' school bus is so loud. So the cool thing is all the housing should just totally match up to whatever we need it to. So that should just boom right there. This should just boom. On Katie's bike, I don't think we had to really cut anything. I think we might have cut a little bit off of the front brake hose, but that does not look bad at all. It actually looks pretty good. And then this one here, it has like a little extra bit for it. Now I never really figured out what this was. It's like another barrel adjuster looking thing. I don't know if you guys know why these bikes have this, but it basically just sort of splits up the, I don't know if it has to do with some sort of drop bar thing. I never looked it up, but then that should go in there. It's looking like a bike for sure. Alright, so when replacing the cables, you'll need to know that this is the road style cable and this is the mountain bike or flat bar style cable. So we can't use this one, obviously. This is what we're going to need right here. Alright, got one set up. I like to sort of pull the caliper, I don't know what you would call this, the actuator. Just pull it in just a little bit to kind of simulate it starting to grab, and then tighten it there. I just feel like it works a little bit better when setting up these mechanically actuated hydraulic brakes for whatever reason. They just seem to be perfect if you just pull them in like no more than really like a centimeter or so. Just kind of get them going. And we tighten that up, and I bet that will be perfect. All right, now I'm gonna try to size this chain. Hopefully it is long enough. We will find out here very soon. We are putting it on a bigger chain ring, which is, you know, it could end up being too small. We'll have to see. Worst case scenario, we have to buy a chain. Wouldn't be the end of the world. Dang. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but that is not long enough, unfortunately. Okay, so good news. I should be able to use this old chain, the KMC 12-speed chain. People online are saying it's compatible, and I can even use it with the Eagle quick link that I have, the Power Lock link. So hopefully this fits. I'm not sure if the largest gear here on the cassette is going to be bigger than the one that was on the original drivetrain on this bike. I didn't look it up. I just figured I would just try it out here and see if it would fit. Dang, so it's still just a little bit too short. All right, so I went to the bike shop last night and got a new SRAM GX chain. Shout out the Bike Shack. I cleaned all the factory grease off of it because it's like this really weird grease that they put on it. So I cleaned that off and it's ready to go. And all we have to do is put it on here and size it. So for the hardtail, which this is technically considered a hardtail, you want to add 2 outer and 2 inner links. And we're putting it on the biggest cog in the rear, and then of course we only have 1 in the front. So we want to cut this one right here. Pull that apart. Now we got 2 inner links that can mesh together. Before we put it on, obviously we have to run it the right way through the derailleur. So we'll get that. Cool, and then we'll just use the power link to connect this all and it should be good to go. Make sure it's perfectly set and open this up and then it pops into place. Cool, we got our chain on. All right, so we had to run to the bike shop again. I'm trying to set up this drivetrain and the shifter was not working. I took it apart and tried to look at some videos to try to figure out what was wrong with it, but I ultimately just decided to go and get a new GX shifter. It had an NX shifter on it and it just was only going through like 3 or 4 gears for some reason. I'm not really sure what's wrong with it, but when in doubt, you just gotta get a new one sometimes. So let's throw this on the bike and see if we can get it to work. This is the new one, much shinier and newer. Cool, dude. It freaking works. Holy cow. Holy freaking cow zones, bro. Just putting some isopropyl alcohol inside the grips and on the bars. Just makes it a lot easier to get these on. And then I'm not gonna put the ESI bar ends in yet because these particular bar ends, we did this on Katie's bike. Once you put them in and try to take them out, they just break. I do have these other bar ends. Maybe we'll just put these in for now. Yeah, that'll work. It looks so good, dude. So stoked on that. I think it turned out really good. Now all we gotta do is take it for a test ride. Okay guys, so we are out right now on about a 20-30 mile ride, and I've got a lot to say about these Tumbleweed Persuader bars. So first of all, I'm having a great time. I'm having way more fun than I would usually have when I was riding with the drop bars, and that's kind of obvious. I really value having fun riding bikes over, going really fast or aerodynamics or anything like that. So it was pretty obvious to me that I was gonna eventually do flat bars on this bike. Katie did a flat bar conversion on her bike recently, probably about like 2 or 3 months ago she did it. And ever since then, I knew that I was definitely gonna do it because she just loved it so much. So definitely check out those videos of Katie doing her drop bar to flat bar conversion. But yeah, that just really inspired me. And then kind of, I just really got to thinking, what kind of flat bars do I want to put on my bike? Because, I could go with a bunch of different options. There's so many different alt bars out there with different hand positions, different amount of rise, different amount of sweep. And I really came across like this particular style of bars. There's a few brands that make bars like this, but when I saw the Tumbleweed ones, a few things that I really liked was, first of all, the bar clamp diameter was 31.8. So I was gonna be able to use the stem that I already had, and I I have a few stems actually that are 31.8, so I could sort of mess around with that. So that was one selling point. I also really liked the amount of rise that they offered and just the overall just sort of aesthetic and amount of sweep and rise and everything basically combined that the Tumbleweed bars offered. And I'm also really happy that I went with the 20-degree back sweep option. I feel like going with the 30 would have been really cool and interesting, but I feel like it's the perfect balance between a comfortable ride and also being able to kind of do like some jumps, hitting off curbs. I just felt like I was having a lot of fun, and it really felt like I was just riding my mountain bike. So it didn't take time at all to get used to the 20-degree back sweep. So that was really cool. All right, so that's sort of my thoughts for this ride. Now we're gonna be going on some bike packing trips in the future. So I'm interested to see how these fare for bike packing. One more thing we really need to touch on. So the width, and this really goes hand in hand with the bike packing thing. So these are 840, which if you don't know, that's very, very wide. It literally feels like you're driving a truck or something. And I was like kind of concerned with that number being so big, and I thought for sure I'm gonna wanna cut them down. But so far on this ride, and I don't know if it's because of the back sweep or what, but they actually feel really appropriately wide. So I'm not in any hurry to cut these down. And I think the reason why they're so wide is it makes it a little bit more stable when you have the bike loaded down with gear. So I'm excited to go on some bike packing trips and sort of try out these ultra wide bars and see if it makes me feel a little bit more stable. So while we're talking about bike packing, another big selling point for these bars for me, and I might have touched on this earlier, but the width between this part and this part where it starts to go up to the rise is super wide. So I'm gonna be able to run my outer shell mega bar bag on here and have plenty of spots to mount that. So that was kind of the main reason for going with these particular bars. If you would just get any kind of high-rise bars that they sell, you know, for mountain biking, it's not going to necessarily work with your bar bags. So I'm really excited to try this out for bike packing and continue using this bike set up like this with the flat bars. Everything else has been great too. The drivetrain's great. These Origin 8 brakes are great, and I really like these ESI grips. These are the first time actually trying these on. This is also something that I got from Katie. She's had ESI grips on a few bikes, and I feel like they're really cozy. So, but yeah, that's basically my review on the Tumbleweed Persuader bars. Go hit the link in the description and you can go to Tumbleweed's site and check them out. Again, they have a few different options, a bunch of different sizes, and even 2 different colors available for these bars. So if you found this video helpful and informative, be sure to give it a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, we're always doing bike packing trips. We go mountain biking. We do pretty much everything that's off-road on a bike. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.